بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعاديات ضبحا فالموريات قدحا فالمغيرات صبحا فأثرن به نقعا فوسطن به جمعا إن الإنسان لربه لكنود وإنه على ذلك لشهيد وإنه لحب الخير لشديد أفلا يعلم إذا بعثر ما في القبور وحصل ما في الصدور إن ربهم بهم يومئذ لخبير.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Well, my bad. I hit the wrong button back here. Hey, let me know if you can hear me in the chat, please. And I don't got my headphones hooked up, so I couldn't hear the outgoing. Boom, boom, boom. I can't hear the audio. Reflecto, what up? Let me know. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Mike, good? Okay, perfect. Cool. Johnny Williams, what's up, man? What's happening? What's going on? Let me bring in the slide. Cool. You got me loud and clear. Appreciate that. Do me a quick favor, man. Click the thumbs up button for me. I gotta change this layout back here because I don't know what happened. That's not how that was. Boom. All right, hold on. Let me get that logo off of here. Okay. All right. So yeah, click the thumbs up button for me. Welcome to Friday's conversation that we try to have every Friday, known as the khutbah or the lecture. And as we start off, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Sallallahu Allah Muhammad Sallallahu Allah Ali Sallallahu Allah, the owl beat. So a great conversation to be had really quick. It's not a long one, I don't think. Known as the 7 chakras in the Holy Qur'an. And we know that, you know, the Quran has various sayings about the 7 heavens. For it are 7 gates. Some could talk about the gates of hell, but it's also talking about you got the 7 gates of heaven as well. So I guess really we need to delve into, well, what is the chakra? Well, let's back up a little bit because somebody may be brand new to this, don't understand what a chakra is. And on the left-hand side, what you see inside of the human diagram, the chakras are said to be energy centers. So like a vortex. Some will argue that it's not in the body. It's, you know, maybe it enters so off of the body. It's in the energy field of you. And this is why you can feel people getting close to you. And it's kind of like, yo, you're in my personal space, even though it's kind of like arm's length rule. And that's very interesting because that's actually a financial term in real estate transaction, arm's length. Okay. And so anything that starts to encroach upon arm's length, you are my energy field, basically, right? And so some say that this energy vortex is, not physically inside of us. Now, I won't share it today, but in my Kriya Yoga teaching, we had taught that it is really an abstract representation of the endocrine system, which I teach this system totally different because everything that I like to do needs to be rooted in science. Okay. And I'm not saying this is not rooted in science per se, but when you understand the biology of a woman and a man, we do not have the same we don't have the same functions in a sense, right? So let me make it plain. So for a woman, and I should have showed a diagram, but I didn't think I was going to touch on it. I thought I was going to ignore it, but I just can't ignore the truth. When you look at a woman's reproductive organs and you deal with the testes, which is part of the endocrine system, I'm sorry, the testes. When we look at the ovaries sit along the panty line, the waistline. Okay. And when you look at the man's testes, that's below the waistline. So when you understand these two, if we're going to deal with the bodily systems, which is science at this particular point, then our reproductive organ that's a part of the endocrine system, which is the chemical messenger system, they're located in two different locations. If we're going to superimpose the chakra map upon them, technically the woman's lowest chakra will be around her panty line area, right? And the man's lower chakra would be what you see in red, which is below the waistline, technically. And then this will mean that we both have 6 apiece, which I'm a proponent of that, because it's only 6 rays of light in what they call 6 days of creation, and the next day he rested. But it's only 6 rays of light, and there's not 7. It is absolutely a known fact that Isaac Newton introduced indigo as a color that you see allegedly in between blue and violet, as if you don't see no other colors that when the other two, other sets merge. But he was fascinated with the number 7. Anyway. So these energy centers, are they physically in the body? Because if they're connected to regions of the body, then they have to be connected to a system in the body. That's important. Now, to me, that's science. Okay. Let's go energy, but let's also go science. Right. So anyway, and so these energy vortexes. Now, obviously, each color represents a location, and each location represents a specific detail. Okay. It's just like in the Quran, it says that Allah inscribed or inspired the 7 heavens and gave them their command. So each chakra, each heaven has a different function. Now, if there is an outer reality, the question is there an inner reality? Okay. Now, I don't have this quote, but you can go look it up. It's in the Quran, and it says, and we will show them our signs on the horizon and within themselves, so that they may know that this is the truth. So there is something on the horizon and something inside of ourselves that we must know is the truth. So what if the creation of the 7 heavens, and then it said 7 earths, but what if that also translate to the human being being made as a miniature replica? Outside of Islam, you're going to hear this concept known as above, so below, the macrocosm, the bigger universe, or what appears to be the bigger universe on the outside, and the internal universe, the micro. Okay. All right. So these 7 centers represent different functions. Okay. Okay. All right. So a chakra in Sanskrit means wheel or a disc or a circle. Okay. And this is heavy in the Hindu and Buddhist tradition. And they said it describes energy vortexes in the body. So this is going further east in Arabia. We got to go over into what we would call Asia in a sense, right? So we got to go a little bit more east. We got to go to India, Hinduism, then we got to go in Buddhism. And they're the two schools of thought that got this particular science. Okay. All right. So it represents wheels, okay, or a vortex. Okay. All right. Give you another rendition of what this could look like. All right. So it's here. And they say, hey, the human spine is connecting via nerves to these energy centers. Now, if that be true, when we enter the body, we pretty much, for the most part, got the body mapped out. We got a skeletal system, we got a nervous system, a muscular system, and things of that nature. So, what do these things represent? You should really look at a diagram of the endocrine system. Go to Google image and type in endocrine system, and you'll see the chakras lay exactly on top of this. Okay. And it ain't your heart, it's your thymus gland, because the heart is not part of the endocrine system. Okay. But same region. All right. All right. And so now, from the Buddhist standpoint and the Hindu standpoint, they say, well, each chakra has a particular note or a sound. And if you vibrate this particular sound, it will activate one of or this particular chakra. But the parallel is, well, in the Bible, they say that the 7 angels is going to blow these trumpets, which is a sound. And the metaphysicians of Bible says that sound, that trumpet, is symbolic for us using sound frequency to open up the 7 seals. Because remember, in the Bible, it talks about the 7 seals, and these seals got to get open. And usually, oftentimes, a seal is a circular shape, usually bottle top, a notary seal. Usually a seal is in a circle. Okay. So sound frequency is going to be the thing, the wave, the tone that's going to open up the seals. Okay. All right. So ain't no angels coming and blowing no trumpets. It's an internal process that takes place within self that's going to open up these churches. So the revelation can happen, because in the Bible, that's what happened. We talking about the book of Revelation. So in order to get the revelation, which I'm going to show you with the prophet, to get the revelation, could it be talking about an internal process? Okay. All right. Okie dokie. So now there is some technology that I own. This is my aura. Let me blow this up. And this was like maybe 2 years ago. What that date say at the very bottom? It says 6/27/2023 on the left at 3:28 p.m. Then came back almost an hour later at 4:22 p.m. doing the work. Pay attention to the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet on the left. You see those bars, those are chakra bars. Those bars are 20% in red or 30% in red, maybe around 40% in orange. Yellow is 30%. Green is about 50. Yes. So nothing is exceeding 50%. The heart was the highest at 50 in green. And number 6, the third eye was tied with the heart. So they're the same. All right. Well, actually one less than the heart. So the heart was 60 and the third eye is 50. So everything is about 50, 40, just, in that, and below 50, right? Besides one. But an hour later, everything is north of, let's just say, starting at 70, which the third chakra on the right-hand side is 70, the yellow on the right. Yes. So it starts at 70 and everything else was like 80, 90, right? All right. So what happened, sir, in that hour? What did you do? And if we pay attention, go back to the left and you see that meter where it says state of mind and body, the bluish looking circle, minus on the left and plus on the right. Notice how the bar was just a little bit to the left, but on the right hand picture, when the chakras is up, it's leaning more to the right. Yes. Even look at the thing called color wheel on the right hand side, the rainbow color wheel. Look on the left color wheel. It looked like it's about on a wall clock. That would be what, like maybe 205, 210. But when you look on the right hand side, it's perfect. Yes, it's perfect. Like you don't even see the little hand. And that's your male female energies inside of your body. Slow down though. But what do you mean male female energies in the body? This is foreign. Okay. Give me a second because I have to I remind me to change this layout because this layout is not what I need to do. So what am I saying? Let me take my time here so we can understand some metaphysical concepts, right? Masculine energy simply means activity and being active, going outbound. It's a projection, either a projection of mind or a projection of physical action. Female energy is magnetic. It pulls in, it sits still, it's just pulling. So it's not about going out or projecting anything. It's just about receiving. Well, amongst the metaphysicians, they say, hey, the left side of your body is actually the feminine side and the right side is the masculine side. So they say, okay. All right, cool. You do have a difference between the right hemisphere of the brain and the left hemisphere of the brain. Science has proven this. These two hemispheres in the brains do two totally different things. One is more abstract, right side brain, pictures, music, things of that nature. One is more analytical, data, give me research, give me numbers, logic, left side of the brain. This is a fact. So we are a dual being within our own psyche. Okay. Okay. Now, this duality that plays within the body could be out of balance with one another. Uh-oh. So what are things that you can do, as we saw on this picture here? Go back to that thing called the color wheel. On the left-hand side, they're close. Let's call it 205. But on the right-hand side, it's like they're perfect. What's going on? How did you get it to that? How did you balance that energy? How did you get those 7 chakras at the bottom, those energy vortexes up in an hour? Even your stress relaxation level, where you look at the green, relaxation went higher than it was on the left-hand side. How did you do that? Okay. Now, I'm not going to get into how I did it. Just know it can be done. Okay. Maybe late at the end. Okay. So these are the energy centers. The important thing I want you to take from this particular, this part right here is it's real, it's measurable. And I got countless of before and after pictures of experimenting with this on self to be able to give to others to say, hey, do this and this will balance this energy. And then you do it, see it before and after. And now you about your merry business, energetically speaking. See, this is the stuff that we really don't talk about. We hear it in passing in a sense or deep conversation, but show the receipts of it. Okay. All right, let's keep moving. All right. So Prophet Noble Drew Ali, may Allah be pleased with his station for sure. For I'm going to say definitely being the forerunner, if not first, to bring Islam to Black America as we know it today. Okay. Circle 7 Quran. Just gonna put it. What's going on with the circle and the seven chakras? What's going on in regular Islam when we say, ho, 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 why are you going around the Kaaba 7 times? What's up with this circle 7? 7 chakras in the circle, 7, you know what I mean? What's going on? Huh? Must be something. So let's read a little bit about the Moorish Science Temple on the circle 7. The physical symbol on cover of the Holy Qur'an 7 inside the circle carries a layer of meanings. The circle represents 360 degrees of knowledge, the universe, known as the cipher, 0, point from which everything begins. It symbolizes that which has no beginning and have no end, because a circle has no beginning, has no end. The circle is Allah. The 7 represents divine law operating within that universe. The combination together, they represent the great meeting of the spirit and the flesh, or the perfection of the Moorish American identity within the laws of the universe. See, to be a Moor, you really are supposed to know universal laws. You're supposed to know that. Okay? All right. The 7 seals, in the biblical apocalyptic sense, representing the unfolding of the hidden truth. A common Islamic and Gnostic theme regarding the layers of the celestial realm, the 7 heavens, that's in the Quran. Then there's a concept called the 7 rays, a concept found in Theosophy or with the Rosicrucians. This says, which Drew Ali drew from, representing the different paths of spiritual light. When you look into the Theosophy of the 7 rays, they say, hey, willpower, love and wisdom is number 2. Ray 3, active intelligence and adaptability. 4 is harmony, beauty, and art. 5 is concrete knowledge, such as science. 6 is the abstract idealism and devotion. 7 is the ceremonial order, or what they would call as the ritual. Okay? So there are various schools of thought, from Hindu to Buddhism with 7 chakras, to Islam with the whole 7 circuits around the Kaaba, and 7 going back and forth between Safa and Mara, these 2 rocks. Yes. To Noble Drew Ali and the circle 7 of the Quran, to the Rosicrucians and Theosophical schools that say, hey, the 7 rays of light. Yes. So there's various schools of thoughts that deal with this. Okay. All right. So a couple things in the Quran, and indeed, hell is a promised place for them. It has 7 gates. Each gate has its assigned portion. And that's deep, because each gate of the 7 do a specific thing. Indeed, the righteous will be in gardens and springs. I like number 3 at the bottom. When the sky will open like wide what? Portals. So the word for gate, they're using portal. Is that true? Well, yes. The word for gate is at the top. Root word ba, wa, ba, BWB. Be right back. If you're going to spell right with a W, right? But bawab, or how you want to say that, bawaba, yes? So it means a gate or a portal. Now, a portal in Oxford Dictionary simply means a doorway, a gate, or an entrance. Okay? An entrance going into something. This is important. Okay? All right. So a few things in the Quran. 7 heavens is mentioned, 7 earths is mentioned, and something known as the 7 oft-repeated verses. They would say, which means the Fatiha, or not really the whole Fatiha, it's the Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. I can't wait till Sunday. I'm going to go reveal it Sunday. Well, we got some work to do. Remember, the Buddhists, what do? They chant. They gotta take their beads. Om. The Hindu chants. Om. Even the Catholic is saying Hail Mary, full of grace. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's praying and chanting. They're using sound frequencies to unlock the spirit within. Okay? Okay. Well, is it true in the Quran that this is a sound frequency thing? I forgot to have a slide in here, but Islamic scholars talk about there's 7 different ways through sound that you are to recite the Quran. 7 different ways. I forgot to put that in here, but you can research that. When you listen to Fatiha, because it says the 7 oft-repeated verses, 7. which is a mystery in that, which I'm going to really get into in class. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Rahmanirrahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Indana siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Then you can add at the end, because this is not written. Ameen. Whoa, what's going on? Mean, in. That's all we hearing. Mean, in, mean. Okay. With those two different sounds, are they possibly doing something? Because Fatiha means the opener, but a gate or a door is something that you open. So Fatiha is the opener, also known as what? The key. And that's what a key does. It opens up, goes inside of locks, goes inside of doors. It opens up. Yes? Okay. Now, when we get to this particular surah, it says, He is Allah, the creator, the inventor, the fashioner. To him belong the best names. Whatever is in the heaven and earth is exalting him, and he is exalted. Yes? That statement is crazy. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I'm just gonna say it. You can't put, the human mind will naturally try to put Allah as a man, as a being. Oftentimes we say he. But what I say, the moment that you style it as a man, well, the reason the mind does that because it's so intelligent that the mind cannot separate that it can't be something higher. It can't be nothing that doesn't have form as a man would have. That's number one. But the moment that we do that, are you saying God sat in a chair, the throne? God got butt. So how big is God's butt to sit in this chair? Right? So the moment that you want to call it astral form, whatever form you give it, I always say, I guarantee you the thing that you see, you're going to be able to go inside of it and see something that the thing that you do see is dependent upon. We can draw that conclusion from every single thing in creation. Somehow you want to go into an atom of hydrogen, you say, hey, you got a nucleus. Hey, you got an electron, and you got a proton, and you have, but your electrons is different. You got one. And, hey, when this has two, it's called helium, and that's the difference, right? And then when you go inside of the electron, oh, wait a minute, hold on. I got a quark here, up quark, down quark. I got these different things here. Yes. And the thing that we see is always dependent upon the thing that's inside of it that we don't see, that we're yet to discover. In the moment that God becomes dependent upon anything, totally erases the function of what we say God is. So it can't have no form. And that's hard for the mind to wrap around. But now let me tell you one of the better schools to really understand this. And I did a video on this because it corroborates and goes with the Quran. And this is why the early Muslims in the golden age of Islam, at the beginning of accepting information and translating information from the Greek and things of that nature into the Arabic, they had to come across the Hermetic science. Allah, all is mental. It's invisible. It's consciousness. And it is so, as the Quran says, so wise and all-knowing. It's so all-knowing that you can think about something, and the very thing that you're thinking about and practicing will pop up in your reality to appear as a coincidence, or what we would call a sign and a confirmation. That's how smart it is. So it's so smart and intelligent that it feels like it is a physical being. Okay? But it's invisible stream of consciousness. Or my favorite depiction is the wave that's invisible. Then it's a sound wave. And then when it speeds up, it becomes an X-ray. And then when it speeds up, it turns into the visible spectrum. Then we can see. And then when it speeds up, it turns into a gamma ray. And then we can't see it no more and all that. Yeah, that one thing takes on these many different forms. Okay? All right. So through this verse right here, the most beautiful names, yes, belong to Allah. This is where you get this should have been the starting point where you can get to wait a minute, what are these names? We're going to get to these because the name is a sound frequency, and the sound frequency ties into a chakra. Okay, so we're going to get there. Okay, now let's pull up a hadith. Okay, this hadith says Allah has 99 names, 100 minus 1, and whoever knows them will go to paradise. This is in the hadith, right? Sahih Bukhari, supposed to be the most authentic hadith when you're dealing with Sunni Islam. So Allah has 99 names, 100 minus 1. Got 99 problems in the ain't one. 200 years after the death of the prophet, because he's out of here in 632. 832 is 200 years, so we about 200 years. Imam Tirmidhi comes along, and he is the one who is going to compile the 99 names of Allah that we this most popular today that we see. Okay, little details about him on the left hand side. He's a part of the 6 canonical hadith compilations. So just like we read Bukhari, then you got Sahih Muslim. Sahih Muslim was a student of Bukhari, Imam Bukhari. Tirmidhi was a student of them. You see what I'm saying? Of Bukhari as well. Okay, you with me? All right. So he's going to be responsible for creating the 99 names. Now, this is where I have a challenge, because I'm going to show you that he challenged. This is what they say. They say he was a direct student of Bukhari. Bukhari is the most authentified Sunni hadith. It said Imam Tirmidhi was perhaps the most academically close to Bukhari. He spent a great deal of time debating the hidden defects of hadith. Hello. So Tirmidhi is upon in the 6 canonicals, 6 people who wrote books about the way of the prophet in that timeline, hundreds of years later, as we just saw. Bukhari's the teacher. Tirmidhi is like, listen, I'm challenging you on some of these defects, challenging you. That's beautiful. Because you're not supposed to accept nothing on face value like that. You shouldn't. Because now I'm challenging Tirmidhi's 99 names of interpretation, as we saw in class over here, that there are 11 duplicates. 11. Ghaffar, same root word. Ghaffar means forgiving. Yes. Hakam, wise, one is judge. Same 3-letter root though. Yes. So there are 11 duplicates that are the exact same word. And then one of them, the long one, if you know the 99 names of Allah, yes, what is it? Du, Al-Jalil, Wa, what is it? Ikram. Jalil is already a word used as an attribute, majesty. Ikram is Kareem. You hear K-R-M, Kareem. So that long name that we have consists of 2 attributes that were already used. That's lazy. So there are 12 attributes from Termity's list that are basically duplicates. And they're duplicates. So then the most studious of us have to say, well, one, what is the criteria or what is the theme that we see in the Quran in which Allah has this attribute, which is really simple. I give it to you. It's really simple. And surely Allah is forgiving. So you will see that. Oh, Allah's forgiving. Okay. Ghaffar, surely Allah is patient. Oh, Sabor, Allah is patient. That's one. So when you study in Quran and it says Allah does something or is something, especially when he is something, because that's the criteria. If you see something that Allah is or possibly does, but especially is, I'll say it again, that's an attribute. And if that thing that Allah isn't on Termity's list of 12 duplicates, you just figured out an attribute perhaps that's just not on the most popular list. Now, other scholars have come, right, in that time, and they have a different list than Termity, as they should. But I'm telling you, the most popular list today, we got 12 dupes. Okay, so we got some work to do. All right. So now let's get into these, since these names belong to Allah. Let's see what these names say. Yes? They tell us at the root chakra, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about security, survival, your well-being, security, to feel safe. Well, that's al-Mumin, the one who gives security. It's right here in the Quran. It's right here in the Quran. And I ain't going to tell you too much, but we know, my Sunday class know about this name in particular. Man, frequency is everything. How many times something appear in the Quran? Because now when you start getting parallels, there is a story being weaved. Not just through the concept that Allah is forgiving, and we did it last week in class when we talked about the orphan and the needy. 2 totally different groups of people. But do you know that both of those appear in the Quran the same amount of times? Or it may be the value of the word of this one for the orphan is the exact same number that matches the amount of time that the needy appear in the Quran. So now the story is linking us to it numerically and not just through their verbal story. That's how deep the Quran goes. Okay. So the base chakra, we say, represents security, but we have an attribute called al-Mumin that you can invoke to open up that and to bring that into our lives. That's the key. Okay. Al-Mumin. All right. Moving on. When we get to creativity, the creativity, number 2, the orange chakra, they say this is where your creativity is, right here. That's Khalik, or Khalik, as some may say. Okay. The creator. When we come over to number 3, which represents willpower, solar plexus, they say this is your willpower, comes from here. Al-Qādir, the all-powerful one. So those of us who may be shy or avoid conflict or things of that nature need to invoke a little bit more what I would call Martian strength, right? The invocation of Qādir is the one. Okay. All right. Moving on to the heart chakra, as they call it. They say love and compassion is here. If you're going to come to love, you're going to come to Wadud, the most loving. But I'll give this a dual meaning, because if you're going to come to compassion, then you absolutely must come to who? Al-Rahman, the compassionate. So for our love and compassion here, Wadud, love, the most loving one, also known as David in the Bible, the beloved one. Okay. So there's an attribute right there that mirrors this particular chakra. Okay. So you gotta bring in the Wadud in the compassion. But remember, it's just not about the name. The name is going to bring about, because it's vibratory, the name is going to bring about an experience, a situation in which is game time for us to enact that principle. You need patience. Be careful. Be careful, because you're going to find yourself in a situation that requires patience. And oftentimes that is very agitating, what that experience is. Yes? Not telling you to not invoke. I'm just telling you, hey, these names are going to bring about the situation. You need love. You need compassion. You start invoking love and compassion, then situations are going to occur for you to have to express that very thing. That very thing. Okay? So be willing to walk it out. Okay? Southside, walk it out. We'll get ready to walk it out. All right? Moving on. So now when we get to the throat chakra, known as communication, I'm going to put Sami right here, all hearing. And you know, you may be thinking, no, but it says communication. Communication is talking. What good is communication if you can't hear? Hearing is a part of communication, because that means understanding. We can also put Alim here, all knowing. The all knowing, because communication represents information. But communication just isn't a one-way signal of masculine energy, meaning a signal of my sound wave voice going out. It must be what? Heard. It must be received. The feminine component comes in, must be received. So then you hopefully could get some understanding of it, and then action can take place. And we start the cycle of masculine and feminine all over again. So all hearing, all knowing is communication. And perhaps we need to be great listeners. You know, perhaps we really do. Because sometimes people will say one thing, but they're not saying what they're really saying. Right? You ain't call me. Why ain't you call me? And you came in town. You ain't called me. Right? Oh, what you really saying is, I miss you, and please call me when you come in. Right? That's what you're really saying. Right? Sometimes you got to figure out what a person, what they really saying. I never forget, my son was watching this one kid from Philly, and he talking about Meek Mill. Yeah, man, Meek Mill don't want me to be telling people don't hang with me and don't bring him, don't bring me when, you know, when they here in town and stuff, because he's a little wild dude. You know what I'm saying? And again, man, you know what I mean? I'm from the city, man. You know what I mean? Like, damn, man, I feel like, man, he could have put on for us and help us out. Oh, I tell my son, I said, see what this is really about? What he's really saying is, I'm out here in these streets, bro. I do shooting, and I done got shot, and I feel like you're in a position to help me. Can you please help me? But instead of being that humble and expressing that vulnerability, it comes off with, man, that nigga don't be doing shit for this. And then when I try to come around, he tell me don't come around. Yeah. You see? But what is the person really saying? So the hearing part, Sami, is a very critical part, because sometimes people say things. Oftentimes we say things and we're not saying what we're really saying. Okay. All right. Let's move on. All right. Come up here to intuition, the third eye. The third eye represents the spiritual vision, perception, dreams, vision, like Joseph in the Bible, Yusuf, same person in Quran. Al-Baṣīr, the all-seeing. See, that's here too, and this is here. That's in Quran, the all-seeing. Okay, so that's there. Then we move to the final one, which is known as the crown. Yes, the crown really represents unity when you become one with God. Yes, al-Wahid. There's a concept, and I should have put it here, in Islam that represents unity. Yes. In this oneness is simply talking about Wahid, this oneness, coming into this union with the Creator. And that happens when, as Jesus, when they tell us, and Jesus was buried at Golgotha, meaning the place of the skull. And that's where the resurrection takes place. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. He ain't here. He was buried there at the place of the skull. Yes. So the Buddhists know this. The Hindu know this. Right? This consciousness of ours that appears to take place in the mind, because mind is the facilitator, but we really don't know that sometimes the mind, the brain mind, is receiving data from the heart mind, and these two can be in conflict with one another, just like the brain and the stomach can absolutely will be in conflict with your mind and what you want to do. Okay, that absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, that's easier to understand. Okay. But there's an unfolding process of what they call 1,000 petals, 1,000 lotus petals, that you can hit a certain state within your meditation or your experience, your divine experience, where all this light, it's all you will see, is all this light going off. Okay. Or enter this state. I've been able to enter a state of pure white light in a waking state a few occasions. Wasn't trying to do it when it occurred, but it occurred. Okay, I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. In fact, when we get to the Prophet ﷺ, his ascension to the seven heavens, this is a concept. This is known. His ascension through the seven heavens. He's now depicted as riding a creature that's a horse. Originally, he mentioned nothing of it having a human head. Art later came, and artists later depict that. But the flame around him, that fire flame spitter represents the divine light of the Creator, in which every single religion and mystery school says the best way for us to get to know God is to study the principles of light. And we say the term enlighten. Yes. All right. Or we crack light and we say, oh, we see 6 colors. Oh, no, I think we see 7 colors. Okay, we're going to have 7 different things. And this means love. And the green light is this. And the blue light is this. And we do these type of things because we're trying to understand God. And Jesus is the light of the world. You go into Buddhism, forget it about it. They got it. Right. So light is a very fundamental thing that we have to understand, because nothing travels in space. They say nothing travels faster than light. There is one thing that travels way faster than light. It's a teaching in the nation of Islam known as thought travels faster than light. Way, 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 way faster than light. Okay. So let's talk about this ascension process real quick. The Prophet from the Hadith said, while I was at the house talking about the Kaaba, in the state midway between sleep and wakefulness. Hold on, let me stop right there. Between sleep and wakefulness. Are you waking up for the day, or are you going to sleep for the day, or taking a nap? Are you coming out of a nap, or are you going into a nap? I find it very ironic that those who teach the science of astral projecting or leaving your body, your soul leaving your body, they wait for this sweet spot right here, and you have to train your mind because it is a very small window in between sleep and wakefulness in which your soul can now leave your body and you can observe and you can start to travel. They call it astral travel and things. They wait specifically for this medium to happen right here, this in between state. So the actual event of the prophet ascending, because he's going to go through the seven heavens, and on first heaven, he's going to see, him and Jibril is going to go to the heavens, and then, the first heaven, they're going to see Adam, and then they're going to leave, and Adam's going to say, "Peace be upon you," and then they're going to move to the second heaven, and it's going to be John and Jesus on the second heaven, and they're going to say, "Who is this?" And he's going to say, "Hey, this is Jibril. Who's with you?" "Oh, it's Muhammad." Is he called for? Yeah, Muhammad was called for. Okay, hey, peace be upon you. Then he leaves. Then he goes to the third heaven, and he meets. He keeps on going all the way to the seventh heaven, which is Abraham. Okay, but as you see in this hadith, it's narrated that the prophet doesn't know if he was asleep or awakened. And so the Islamic consensus of the past was, we don't know if this was a physical thing. You think? I don't know if this is a physical thing. So let's explore it from being a mental thing, an internal thing, had nothing to do with physicality. Because his body didn't physically get up and go to Jerusalem. Everybody would, hey, no, we left him. We saw him leave and disappear. He came back. No, that's not on the record. So it's an internal thing. Okay. All right. So in this internal thing of climbing the seven heavens, the seven heavens are inside of us. So they say, seven heavens inside of us. Okay. All right. So the seven heavens inside of us. How do we climb it? Various ways, ladies and gentlemen. The stairway to heaven, various ways. I'm about to give y'all a Kriya yoga technique. But you can, I don't want to prescribe anything, right? Because the real work comes into being able to measure your input to see if your change has occurred. That's the most important part to me. Okay. So this is an internal process. All right. Here's the proof. I'll show you the date. Look at the date. Pay attention to the date. Is that not today at the bottom? At 10:32 this morning, a couple hours ago. Right? Same. This was today. White, beyond physical, beyond transcendent, higher dimensions. Okay? Higher dimensions. How do you get here? I was playing around and I said, when your aura matches your fit, when your aura matches your outfit, which I knew it would because I know how I feel. Is there a way for us to really pay attention to how we feel, what we think, and what we feel, and get our vibration frequency to increase or decrease, which is going to equate to what we call a color? Absolutely, we can do this. Without a shadow of a doubt, we can do this. Without a shadow of a doubt, we can do this. And I feel like this is the kind of work, for me, this is the work that, it's time for me to return back to and finally give people a place where they can actually practice it in real life and not just hear about this stuff. aura is large. The aura is large. The chakra is not, because that's some work to do on that. I just wanted to see what the energy field was saying today, right? And that's what it's saying. Okay. All right. So salute to everyone who is helping the Golden Heart, as we call it, the Golden Heart Love Center. Also, if you went to nobleampucourses.com, which we got a whole new, it's a new look over there. So salute to B, which I'll show you that real quick. You come over here, man. Listen, you got some courses. All right, we gotta fix this one here, but the mastering of the elements, the astral modality, understanding heavenly law, and unlocking the Hebrew alphabet, which is the Hebrew is the precursor to Arabic. Arabic got 28 letters, and 22 of them come from the Hebrew. So it's only 6 letters that are their own. Okay. So you can come over here, check some videos out that you see right here and stuff, but you can come over to the courses. All right. So again, that's nobleampucourses.com. So to put that on here and whatnot. But your support is greatly appreciated. Today, what we did, my guys, you probably heard them banging. They just finished replacing some old rotted out pieces on the back of our deck. And now that the wood is up, baby, it is time for the paint to come. So I'm waiting for it to be warm where it's not going to be no rain day. We're going to be at almost 80 degrees, but it say it's going to rain, and chance of rain. So I don't want to take a chance. But this is the place. I wish I can kind of turn things around. I actually could, but I'll make a video of it though. And take you out into the backyard, but everybody in the Patreon, they see it. You know what I mean? But this is our private residence where we just put 2 raised garden beds down, see the deck, redoing the deck and whatnot, and getting ready to move into a pure space of exactly what the name sounds like. Golden Heart Love Center. Our motto is simple. Our motto is, in love, we are healed. Love is the healing force, without a shadow of a doubt. Right? That's what we do. That's what we, strive to uncrack and practice and show. Right? But also bringing in the aura machine that you saw, the chakra machine, the energetic thing. Right? Because see, if we can truly mind our energy, like truly mine it, right? Then that regulates blood pressure. That regulates mood, which means you're regulating thinking. You see what I'm saying? And then you start to regulate metabolism and all other. The nervous system is the whole key. You start regulating the entire nervous system, which is the electrical impulse that gives the signals for this whole thing called life to exist, is the nervous system. We have to regulate that. How do you do that? I'm going to tell you. Flat out sitting there saying zikrs is not going to be enough, especially in the West. It's not going to be enough. Guarantee you. When I first got this technology over a decade ago, probably 15 years ago, I called them because I thought it was broke. I'm like, everybody that get on here is they're failing. Nobody's, and they no, your system is working. And then it hit me. I said, oh shit, I'm in North Philly. I got people coming in the middle of North Philadelphia, coming in, getting on this machine. Yeah, man, you stressed out. I thought the machine was broke. I swear to God, I thought the machine was broke. Nobody's passing. And then I said, no, this is the state of human beings. So what can we do to enhance this life force and open up these 7 heavens within? That's the key right there. Okay. That's the key. It's a practice and it's really a lifestyle. That's with a lot of things. Okay. All right. So get with me. Get with me. It will be as you see, we still renovating and doing some things and whatnot, but I'll let you know when the door is open. You know what I mean? Where you can come. You know what I mean? I definitely will let you know. But your support is absolutely needed. And I thank you so much for those of you. And the exchange is, hey, listen, man, go grab a course. Go learn this information. It's on the module. And in return, I can take that and I can pay Jose and my brother from El Salvador and my 2 Mexicans that's with them. I could pay them to do the deck. You know what I'm saying? So your support is absolutely appreciated. So now we're going to paint. Then we're going to I'm going to grab a water barrel from Home Depot. We're going to cut the gutter. Also, the rainwater can flow straight into the barrel, because city water may have too much fluoride and it'll kill the crops. So I want to use rainwater to do that. You see what I'm saying? And so it helps us just turn this place around, you know what I mean, and do what we need to do. So your love, your love and support is absolutely appreciated. But hit that Cash App if you can. Golden Heart Love Center, you will see it. Okay. All right. So question real quick, because I do have the lawnmower man coming over. He want to charge me $40 a week, which is cheap. You know what I mean? But he going to come over today, this evening, and cut this grass. And I want it cut on an angle. You know what I mean? I just want him to take care of the first grass, because the tenant didn't take care of this place. And he got one of those, what's called a zero turn joints. You see people outside, you know, cutting factories with, you know what I mean? He got one of them big boys. So I'm gonna have him get back here and get this grass down to where I want it, so I can keep on going with the gardening project. Okay. All right. Cool beans. The scientific mystic. What up, bro, man? I got your chat, man. I've been extremely busy. In fact, I got some real estate business that I got to take care of. And I got a tenant asking, can they talk? When tenants, yeah, can I call you at 2:00? For what? You know, it must be something. It's never really a good thing when that happens. You know what I mean? All right. Yo, good. Yes, you may. All right. And then I got people cutting down trees on another property and stuff. All right. So I'm gonna get out of here. All right. But hit me up. Hit me up, man. Join the Patreon. Get in, man. It's cool. But you know, if you got a question on anything, feel free to shoot me an email, which is nobleanpu@gmail. And if you want a love center, then it's Golden Heart Love Center @gmail. Center spelled out and everything. Okay. All right, man. I'm gonna get out of here. We're going to end this with Adiyat. All right. And happy first day of spring. The sun is crossing the celestial equator today. So happy Aries season. Aries represent the muscular season, and it rules the head. So this is really kind of like the head of the year right here. For real. And so now the energy is wanting to build down. So this is the time to really take charge and be the head. Get your head right, get your body right. And what a coincidence, just because it's people want to work out now because of the weather. Yeah, but I find it very ironic that Aries rules the muscular system. How ironic is that? See, we be doing these things unbeknownst all the time. Okay. All right, man. I get with you. Peace.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعاديات ضبحا فالموريات قدحا فالمغيرات صبحا فأثرن به نقعا فوسطن به جمعا إن الإنسان لربه لكنود وإنه على ذلك لشهيد وإنه لحب الخير لشديد أفلا يعلم إذا بعثر ما في القبور وحصل ما في الصدور إن ربهم بهم يومئذ لخبير